Hey performers, welcome back. So today we look at an age-old question that has plagued live performers for years. Electronic drums versus real drums. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Danny Robertson Music, where we try to help you become the best possible performer that you can be on whatever stage you choose. I'm Danny Robertson. Thanks for joining us again this week. If you haven't seen us before, do me that favor, hit the subscribe button at the YouTube channel and join our email list at DannyRobertsonMusic.com. So, live, real acoustic drums versus fake electronic drums. What's your choice? I know mine, and I know that most of the drummers that I work with and talk to have a pretty strong opinion about how they feel about that one way or the other. It's surprisingly a very politicized topic when it comes to drummers. You either are a traditionalist, where you believe that all drums that are live on stage have to be live, or you might be the type of performer that wants to embrace new technologies and try to do things a little bit differently. I can tell you, both of them work. You just have to figure out which one is your personal preference. We're going to take a look at both the pros and cons of using an acoustic set on stage or using an electronic set on stage, and maybe where you can blend those two together. So here are some of the pros that I see from using an acoustic drum set on stage. One, you get a live feeling. You feel like that band is really there right in front of you. It does not feel like a DJ or pre-recorded music of any kind being played. You get the feeling that you are at a concert, and there's a lot of energy that comes from that. For the average musician that's playing shows, you're not likely to be playing much more than bars and small clubs most of the time. And therefore, in order to get that concert, big band type of feel, an acoustic set may make sense in this case. It gives you that energy that you need when you can't put 1,000 speakers up to give you that big, huge wall of sound. Acoustic sets also do something fantastic in that they set your limitations and your expectations about what you're going to be able to do on stage. You don't focus on throwing every sound in the mix that you can into your show. You focus on making your instrument, the one that you have right in front of you, sound as good as it can. Some of the best drummers I know keep it simple, and they just have great sounding kits that they play well. On the flip side, acoustic kits are acoustic by nature. They're harder to control volume, and if you don't have a good sound set up on your drum set, you're not going to sound very good on stage unless you spend some time tuning it, getting it right, getting it sounding good. Just like this can be considered a pro, it's also a con. You're also limited to one sound, which means you have to get creative in how you play the instrument in order to make it sound unique, big, bad, awesome. Now, an electronic kit, if you've never seen one, you can go to a place like sweetwater.com or any other music retailer, and they sell these brands like Roland and Alesis and a few others that make drum sets that are basically pads that are controlled to make sounds through a little MIDI-controlled box. They're actually kind of neat, and some of the really expensive ones sound amazing. But just like acoustic kits, there are pros and cons to using an electronic kit. Pros of an electronic kit are that you have an arsenal of different kinds of sounds available at your fingertips. You can play to whatever style and genre of music that you're trying to play to. You can also, a lot of the time, pre-record what you're trying to play so you can play along to a click track, or you can add extra instruments that are not on stage with you, things like shakers and tambourines and hand drums and things like that. You can pre-program that into your electronic kit. So as far as electronic kits go, you do have a lot of different sounds and features that are available to you that you wouldn't with an acoustic kit. Second pro is that they're really a lot easier to control in terms of volume. So if you're playing somewhere that you need to play quietly, like a church, for example, electronic kits are very popular in those cases because you can get the sound that you need and get it as loud as you need it to be or not be. So very good for controlling volume. I do feel that electronic kits have two glaringly big cons that work against them in terms of performing live. The first one is also considered a pro, but it can be a con in the right context. If you have an arsenal of different types of sounds available to you, you might have too many choices, and you might end up putting too many of the wrong things into your show because you have the ability to do so. Sometimes that can work against you. When you listen to a lot of the guys that do mixing and mastering of music, a lot of the time those YouTube creators, they tend to talk about the same thing. They say, if you have an arsenal of plugins or sounds and EQs and compressors and everything like that, sometimes that works against you because you don't ever learn how to use the full instrument properly, and therefore you never actually sound as good as you could. So with electronic kits, it's the same kind of problem. You may want to learn to manage that and pick your favorites without trying to go into every sound that's available on the kit. The other big problem that I see for electronic kits is that when you want to sound big and huge, sometimes you don't have the speaker power to make that happen. And so sometimes when you're trying to get that really big live feel, electronic kits don't always work well enough for that. They can, if you have the right sound system attached to it. But when you're playing the average show, you need to make that drum set sound as big as it can, and sometimes that's just not possible. So what is the right solution for this? Playing live acoustic kits when you're playing on stage and recording with electronic kits? Or playing with electronic kits on stage and just learning how to get your volume to the right level to make it sound big and bad and awesome? My personal opinion is there's a great way to balance these two. You can feel free to disagree with me on this, but I personally feel that when you play live on stage, the best live on stage setup is to have, yes, an acoustic live drum set, but then supplement that with a trigger pad that has different kinds of sounds that are electronic, and you can get the best of both worlds. I've seen lots of drummers perform this way, and it seems to be a good mix for most drummers. You can basically get that 808 type of bass drum sound triggered from a pad if you want to, or trigger some kind of tambourine and hand drum rhythm that is playing on the pad that you play along with on your live drum set. I personally feel that that's the best combination you can get of getting the sounds you want, plus the live concert feel that you get from the acoustic set. Whatever your choice is on this, feel free to agree or disagree. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear that. This is completely up to interpretation, and really, you get to do what you feel best. So go do that. And just have fun playing live music, because that's what this is all about. That's it for today. Thanks again for watching. I hope you have a great next performance, and in the meantime, have a great week and take care.